Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood InstructLab community member Grant. I have 30 minutes in between meetings today. It is 3 o'clock on June 26th and my next meeting's not till 3:30. So I had this idea. On yesterday's video I got the always ready voice assistant working with the InstructLab Granite model. I just had an idea. Maybe I should hook that up to the Granite code model and then open up a coding project in VS Code and ask it some questions about the code that I have. So I thought it'd be fun if you all wanted to follow along with that. So I'm going to open up my command prompt. This is exactly where I left off yesterday. It looks like I quit always ready, and I am still serving the Granite code model. Let me quit this. Why is that not quitting? Let me just hit Control C. /by. Let's try that. Okay. So let's do Olama pull granite dash code. And let's just do that actually. And this will download the default Granite code model, which is a very small model. It's only 2 gigabytes in size. This is, I believe, the 3 billion parameter model. So this will be interesting to try out. I'm not actually sure what type of results we're going to get with such a small model. But let's get it up and running and get the voice assistant working with it and see what we can do. So it's almost done downloading, and then I'm going to serve the model with Olama. We'll change the configuration file to point to the Granite code model, and we'll ask it some code questions. So let me run granite-code and start serving that model. Okay, now let's go back over to our config file and let's change this to just granite-code actually. Granite-code, and I'm going to save this. Now we get to do something exciting. Let's clone a code repo. Let me go to my GitHub actually, GitHub/G-Shipley, and see if I have any code in here. Well, I do have some code in here. Look at that, Grant codes. Not really. You can see the last time I changed this was last year ago. Let's download this super old project that I haven't worked on in a long time, and maybe I want to start adding some features to it. So let's do that and see if it can help us out. Let me open a new terminal, make this bigger, and let's go into the code directory and let's git clone this thing. And let's go into the Wild West app. Let's start up VS Code. Okay, yes, I trust the author. I trust myself. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. Now let's look at some of the source code here. Java, this is written in Java. Let's look at maybe this platform object helper here. So I don't want to install that right now. I'm trying to do this really quick and see instant gratification. Let's go back over here and start always ready. And then I think one of the options it said was if I hold down Alt Control and double tap R to give always ready the content currently copied in your clipboard. Okay, so let's try that. So let's copy this code block right here. Okay, I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to hold down Alt Control and double tap R. Can you explain this code to me? Maybe I didn't do it right. Let's see. It is using the clipboard. We'll see what happens here. Did I do something wrong? Maybe I need to ask it and then paste in. Or wait, do I need to hit this again? Let's see. Oh, I did it completely wrong.
Here's what this code does. 1. It creates an instance of platform object helper and sets up a connection to the API server. 2. The code uses the Kubernetes client library client to communicate with the Kubernetes API. 3. The configuration class is used to set default API client settings, in this case, using the in-cluster configuration. 4. The API variable is created using the core v1 API from the Kubernetes client library, which allows you to interact with the Kubernetes API. 5.
Oh my gosh.
If there's an exception while establishing the connection or creating the API client, it will be printed to the console. This code sets up a connection to the Kubernetes API server and creates an instance of the Core V1 API for interacting with Kubernetes resources.
That's
It uses
awesome.
the in-cluster configuration to simplify development.
That was freaking amazing. I've never tried this before. That was cool. Let's do it one more time. And now I understand the flow a little bit better. So what I do is I copy this, and then I go back over here and I hit Alt-Control-R, and then I can talk to it and then paste in stuff. Can you explain the code in this section and tell me what it does? And then this time it'll go faster.
Here's what this code does. 1. It creates an empty array list called platform objects. 2. The getPods method is called to retrieve pods from the Kubernetes cluster, and their details are added to the platform objects list using the add_all method. 3. Similarly, the getPVs method retrieves persistent volumes PVs from the Kubernetes cluster and adds their details to the platform objects list. 4. Finally, the getServices method retrieves services from the Kubernetes cluster and adds their details to the platform objects list. 5. The code then returns the platform objects list containing the details of pods, PV, and services. Question: can you give an example of what it does?
That is crazy. That is amazing to me, actually. Can you imagine how powerful this would be for me? Like, I haven't touched this project in years for a complex piece of code. Just to be able to ask it what it's doing here. Let's try it one more time. I am literally amazed at this. Let's do it again here. Can you explain this code sample to me?
Here's what this code does. 1. It creates a new instance of the Kubernetes client class using the default configuration. 2. The code then uses the Kubernetes API client to request all pods from the cluster, and it retrieves their details and adds them to a list called pods.
Yeah, I didn't actually copy it, but that is freaking amazing to me. Look at that. I am using a 2 gigabyte open source Granite code model. And I got this up and running in a total of less than 15 minutes if you include the video that I did yesterday. And now I have a voice assistant. I can copy and paste code into it and have it explain things to me. The possibilities here are phenomenal for your development team. I'm super excited about this. And I got this all running in 7 minutes. Switched out to the Granite code model, cloned a repo. This is absolutely astonishing and amazing to me. I don't have my video on, but you would be able to see it in my facial expressions. But anyway, just another fun video in between meetings today as I'm starting to play around more and more with InstructLab and the Granite code models. And again, they're all open source Apache 2.0 licensed models, all running locally. And in this case, it was just a 2 gigabyte version of the model. So you can run this basically on a very small spec machine because it's not going to need that much memory to load the model in to do inferencing and things like that. So anyway, I'm going to get ready for my next meeting. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Talk to you later. Bye.